As someone who runs and lifts, being able to train twice a day is key to fitting in all the volume I need to make progress as a hybrid athlete. But if you're like me and have a busy life, then balancing these two opposing disciplines can seem really daunting. But by effectively integrating these double training days into my weekly program, I've been able to make solid progress both in the gym and with my running. So follow along as I show you how I balance 2 workouts in a single day and what food I'm eating to fuel them.
So it's about 10:07 in the morning, and when I'm training twice a day, I like to try and get my first workout done and dusted way before breakfast. The difference between a 7 AM run and an 8 AM run, especially on an otherwise busy weekday, is huge, just in terms of how much time you have left in the day to do all the other crap that you need to. My standard 5-mile running route that I usually do is flooded at the moment, so I'm just trying to work out exactly where I'm going. All done with the morning run. Felt good. I did a 2-kilometre warm-up, followed by about 3x2 kilometres, roughly at my 10k pace. I'll put the details up here somewhere. But all finished, and it's just gone 8. So it feels great to get my first workout of the day done. So it's about 8:30 in the morning now. I've just had a shower, and I'm absolutely starving. So I'm just gonna get dressed and grab some breakfast. So I've just got my breakfast, and here I've got some homemade granola, which is basically oats, chia seeds, mixed seeds, some dried fruit, and a few other bits and bobs. And on top I've just put a few extra nuts, some blueberries, and some full fat yogurt. And with that, lovely cup of tea and a banana. So anyone that's watched this channel before, this is pretty much a staple breakfast for me, and I'll have it most mornings. And considering I went out for my run this morning on an empty stomach, the aim of this breakfast is to refuel those glycogen stores, so there's plenty of carbohydrates, plenty of healthy fats, protein, fibre, all the good stuff. So I'll get tucked in. Today's double training day isn't representative of the fact that I'm some hugely elite athlete who trains all the time. In fact, the opposite is kind of true. I'm someone that enjoys doing 2 opposite disciplines and doesn't have time to train every day. So on days when I'm working from home, I make the most of the extra free time that gives me. But for someone that grinds a normal 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, maybe it's a weekend job for you. One of the reasons I love running in particular, and came back to it after years of exclusively weightlifting, is because of its simplicity. You don't need to drive to a gym, because you can literally just step out your front door and be back within 30 minutes if you have to, and most people can probably find 30 minutes in a day to work out. And with me training twice a day, later this evening when I do my bench session, I'll explain how I make the most of my time there too. Anyway, time to actually work. As you can probably tell from today's video so far, I'm a huge coffee fan, and this is a fresh delivery of 1 kilogram of whole bean, freshly roasted coffee. Turns out that coffee is actually a little bit of a superfood, which is great because I was drinking tons of it before I even found this out. Caffeine gets a little bit of a bad rap, but in general, it's a positive thing. There's always going to be a small number of people who are kind of intolerant of caffeine, you know, getting agitation, palpitations, headaches, the shits. But in summary, drink more coffee. So this is something quite typical that I might have at lunchtime. It's kind of like a whole grain salad. So in here I've got some bulgur wheat with various different types of salads, different nuts, seeds, some cranberries, some feta cheese. Yeah, it's basically anything and everything that you have in the fridge. And with that, I've got some just plain tortilla chips and a bit of hummus. So yeah, this is the perfect sort of meal which supports my hybrid training. And on days like today where I'm doing a double training session, it's especially important to make sure that you're getting enough energy in. I said before that I don't count calories, and you might be wondering how I actually manage my nutrition and manage to keep a stable weight despite all the running and lifting that I do. And it's actually a lot easier than it seems. I found that by drastically cutting down the amount of ultra-processed foods that I'm eating and consuming predominantly whole foods, it's all pretty intuitive. I usually eat 3 good meals a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner. There's usually 1 or 2 extra snacks on top of that. On days where I'm training more, I add in a few more snacks. On days I'm training less, I add in less. I tend to eat pretty clean midweek, and on the weekends I'm a little bit more relaxed with what I'm eating. I've been doing this for around the last 6 to 12 months, and so far it's working brilliantly for me. And I'm also eating foods that are supporting not only my training, but also my health and longevity too. So, win-win. Right, so we'll finish with lunch and I'm just off to a cafe to get a bit of a change of scenery really. Anyone that works from home regularly knows how dull it can be. And anyone that's watched this channel before might be thinking, what sort of doctor works from home and has time to go to a cafe at 2 PM on a Wednesday? That's a very good question. But basically the only way to get a training job as a doctor in the UK is to apply for jobs that start in August each year. And in August last year, I was working in New Zealand as a doctor, hence missed the deadline, which has meant this last year I've had a little bit more free time. I've been working 2 or 3 shifts a week in the emergency department I used to work in, whilst following other passion projects, like starting a YouTube channel. Which leads slightly clumsily onto my next point about how to train twice in a day. You basically need to find a sport that you enjoy, or in my case, sports that you enjoy. For me, it's running and lifting. And training twice a day is more of a treat really than a chore. I kind of relish the opportunity to work from home and be able to fit these 2 different training sessions in. And I guess the message here really is just find something you love doing, something that you can do consistently and sustainably into the future. I know I'm not going to be this young and fit forever, but I'm trying to train and eat in a way which not only means that I'm able to keep going well into the future, but in a way where I want to keep going and training this way well into the future. So I'm back at my dining room table. The cafe kicked me out at 4. I didn't realise it closed so early. But getting home early has given me the opportunity to make a quick snack. So here I've got some sourdough bread with some peanut butter, some chopped pear on top and a few chia seeds sprinkled, and then the rest of the pears here just on the side. And cheeky little side note, this is actually shop bought sourdough bread, but here is my own sourdough starter, and I am trying to make my own sourdough. But all my attempts so far have been hampered by my exceedingly cold house, which means that the bread isn't actually able to properly rise. And it also turns out that making sourdough is unbelievably complicated, so any tips would be much appreciated. Anyway, I've got about another hour of work to get on with, and then it'll be time to hit the gym. Right, I've finished with work for the day. It's about 5:30 in the evening. I'm gonna head to my home gym. Yeah, I need to turn the lights on. I wonder if you guys can tell who used my home gym last. Was it me or my wife?
Nicely wound up power cable here.
Right, okay, now we're cooking. That took absolutely flipping ages. I don't mean to sound dramatic, but that is the sort of thing that breaks up families. So usually in the evenings I just head to my regular local gym, but it's 5:30 PM in the evening and it'll be absolutely packed. So there'd be zero chance of me filming. Hence I've come to my very basic home gym. I'll give you a little tour. So this is my bench. This is my barbell. This is my lighting setup. This is my rack. And this is my homemade deadlift platform. I'd like to say it usually looks a lot tidier than this, but it doesn't. So just a quick point on programming your workouts for these double training days. Personally, I like to separate my running and lifting sessions by at least 6 hours and at least 2 meals. This just helps to ensure that I'm recovering properly and minimising the effect that one workout is having on the other. And secondly, I suppose this is kind of obvious, but if you're only doing a single double training day a week, don't put your 2 hardest training sessions of the week on the same day, because I've certainly done that before and it is a big mistake. When you're a hybrid athlete, there's always going to be an element of compromise when it comes to your training volume or your progression compared to if you're someone that only trained a single discipline. Following these tips is just a simple way of optimizing your programming, which is going to prevent injury and maximize your recovery, which ultimately, hopefully will lead towards you achieving progressive overload and becoming a fitter and stronger athlete. But a small caveat to my program, it's by no means perfect. And that's just representative of the fact that I have a life outside of training. There's plenty of weeks where I don't manage to do every session that I planned originally, and there are some days, like yesterday for instance, where I awkwardly jammed together a deadlift and a squat session, which was by no means ideal. What my program is realistic and pragmatic, and it recognises that sometimes life gets in the way, and ultimately the best program is the one that you're going to stick to. Just a quick point on my lifting workouts. As I keep saying, time is a limited resource, and especially on these double training days, I need to prioritise the movements that are giving me the most bang for my buck. And when it comes to my goals of building strength and athleticism, those movements are compound lifts. So I've just kind of been in and out of the gym the last hour, cooking dinner as well, and tonight we've got a mixture of cauliflower and sweet potato that's been roasted with some green lentils, a slaw, and then a nice kind of lime and coriander dressing on top. Cheers. So Lil's made us some delicious pudding here. What have we got, Lil?
We've got some frozen yogurt, and then I've blended in some frozen berries as well. It's kind of melted a little bit now, hasn't it? But basically just like frozen yogurt with frozen berries. So it's kind of like ice cream-esque, but...
That's it for today, guys, and of course please like and subscribe for more running, lifting and general fitness content, and I'll see you again next time.